So let me formally start the briefing today by informing us that the state government has commenced the payment of gratuities to deserving beneficiaries. And recall that we informed you some time ago that the state government set up a committee to midwife the payment process of gratuities in the state. And that committee had some broad terms of reference, but let's focus on two very important aspects of the terms of reference. One, that committee was meant to ascertain and validate the cumulative gratuity area owed to both the state and local government retirees from 2001 to 2025. And to propose feasible modalities and timelines for the commencement and sustained payment of these areas. The committee established a comprehensive review that successive administrations in Abia State, particularly those of Governor Stewart and Big only affected less than 0.01% of gratuities payment to retirees who left the service between 2011 and May 2023. Specifically, upon review of records from the State Pensions Board and Local Government Pensions Board, the committee determined the total outstanding gratuity liability to be 61.8 billion, covering both state and local government retirees. So if you have to do a summary of the outstanding gratuities between 2001 and 2010, was 7.2 billion. Between 2011 and 2023, ending May 2023, May 29, 2023 was 43.6 billion. 2023, May 13, 2023 to the present is 10.9 billion. That's how the total of 61.8 came about. So in consideration of the magnitude of the liability, the committee examined several payment scenarios, having in consideration as follows: the impact of a lengthy delay on the lives of the pensioners, the obligation of government as a continuum, the limitations to the capacity of government to meet the established obligations while maintaining the momentum gained in restoring Abia State, and the efficacy of the process. The committee therefore recommended that the total annual financial impact 2026-2031 to be duly provided in state's medium-term expenditure framework and subsequent yearly budgets to ensure steady implementation and to avoid further accumulation of gratuity arrears. That payments should be made directly to verified beneficiaries through a dedicated gratuity payment platform linked to the State's Treasury Single Account, TSA, with biometric validation to prevent duplication and fraud. 3. That fiduciary care should be exercised in cleaning the database, especially in the face of poorly kept, mostly analog records of services and payments made to retirees. Finally, that the payment of arrears should reflect the impact of annual expenditure and relative social impact by focusing on the oldest arrears and cross-cutting beneficiaries in subsequent years. So it's worthy for us to note that, try as this government has done, it will be very difficult for this administration to clean up all the whole mess of 24 years in 3 years. 24 years of misrule and maladministration that has brought us to this present pass. However, as a people-focused administration, the state government will continue to cater to the interests of our retirees and to those of our workers who are still in service. Let me inform us that across the state, beneficiaries have been receiving their last, and I'm sure one or two of you here must have had people talk about it. Any witnesses to that effect? People have started receiving our last of their gratuity payment.
I confirm from the
You have, right?
Yes.
Okay, if you have not, I tell you a typical story of somebody, a retiree whose mother today is her birthday, and she received her house today. So you can imagine what the birthday present she received. So having said that, a helpline has been established to ensure that issues arising from the payments of gratuities are resolved as soon as they arise. There's no way in this process you may not have one or two issues arising from the payments. And the number of the helpline is, you can take the number, 0800 0232. Let me go through that again. 0800 0000232. And that's Abia State Citizens Contact Center. And the helpline will be available from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily on work days. And for email, for those who may wish to use email to contact them, the email address is contactcenter@abiastate.gov.ng. contactcenter@abiastate.gov.ng. And this will run 24/7. Let me also inform us that the strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities and so Abia State University Chapter arose from concerns related to outstanding staff welfare and immigration matters. It's important to emphasize that before that action, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Abia State, Otti, had approved the ASU demands way back in April 2026. So the subsequent delay was therefore not a matter of government's unwillingness or refusal to meet those demands, but rather an issue arising from administrative and implementation processes. So given the importance His Excellency attaches to the welfare of workers, workers' welfare. So last week he directed the Secretary to the State Government and a committee to quickly look into the issues and ensure that the matters are resolved within 48 hours. And that directive underscores the seriousness with which the present administration treats workers' welfare and its commitment to constructively engage with organized level. So following the intervention of the SAG-led committee, the issues that led to the strike have now been resolved. In particular, outstanding check-off dues have been paid, and a new salary scale, consolidated academic teaching allowance scatter, and other related payments have been addressed and will be paid with August 2026 salary of the affected workers. And the August salary of those workers is expected to drop anytime soon, maybe within by next week. This week, confirmed from sources. Thank you very much. The new salary scale for that staff at the Abia State University have also been processed and will be paid in this month, this August. Consequently, it is safe to assume that all the issues regarding the action by ASU have been concluded or resolved. These developments further demonstrates the His Excellency's regard for workers' welfare. The governor's immediate directive that the matter will resolve within 48 hours, even though the necessary approvals have already been granted in April, is a clear demonstration of the governor's responsiveness to legitimate workers' concerns. The administration remains committed to constructive engagement with ASU and other organized labor unions, while ensuring that workers' welfare remains a priority of the administration. Let me also inform us that tomorrow His Excellency on election will commission the Obi General Hospital located at the Mboko in the local government area. The hospital is a modern health facility with digital health equipment that will expand the healthcare coverage in the state. It is the first of its kind around this shore. Let me inform us also that the Abia State Strategic Healthcare Oversight teams were inaugurated in 4 local government areas. During the past week, in Umaya North and South, East Iguana local government area, and Upper East local government area. The Abia State Diaspora Healthcare Endowment Fund was also inaugurated on Saturday, the 22nd of August, by His Excellency Dr. This is a health support fund created to support health insurance enrollment for indigent and poor citizens under the informal sector. It is worthy to note that the state's health insurance coverage has grown to 269,900, showing a remarkable but steady increase in enrollment figures. And these are indications of the level of confidence reposed in the scheme by others. The recruitment of health workers is ongoing, as announced last week. The recruitment portal is still open, and medical officers, dental officers, and consultants are encouraged to apply. During the period under review, still in the health sector, there were no reported cases of diseases of public health importance in the state. Here we are referring to such diseases as Ebola, Lassa fever, COVID-19, diphtheria, cholera, mpox, and yellow fever. From the Education Ministry, let me inform us that the recruitment of the last cohort of 4,000 teachers, or the B recruitment of teachers, has been concluded. A total of 4,074 new teachers who were successful are currently receiving notifications of their recruitment. Varying benchmarks on the number of teachers were introduced during the recruitment process. The overriding cut-off mark was 50.5%. However, the entire process was marked by transparency and merit as usual. Successful candidates are receiving their appointment letters, while onboarding and the orientation of the newly recruited teacher is scheduled to commence next week. The recruitment of this additional 4,074 teachers will strengthen the state's teaching workforce, and it will address specific subject areas where the Ministry of Education have been short in terms of relevant teachers that would teach specific subjects. A ministerial committee from Sudan paid a visit to the state last week with respect to understanding the success of the state smart school projects. This is a confirmation that the state smart schools project have become a reference point to even federal agencies and ministries. In line with the agenda of the state government to provide uninterrupted power supply in the state, the government plans to provide power or electricity to the Umuahia first area through licensing a generation plant within the area, evacuating generation capacity from the Aloji power plant to supply power to the Umuahia first area. And this involves the 8 LGA areas of Abia Central and Abia non-senatorial zones. The state government is also considering deploying interconnected mini-grid in undersound and unsound locations within the first area, and also in areas where vandalization of electricity assets have led to interruption of power supply. And in this wise, we have such cases very rampant in Arochukwu area and Abia. Thank you very much, gentlemen. The press is much more for you today.
To 2010, you would imagine that the yearly amount will be than what you have for the remaining part of the period, because as you review the salary, the gratuity goes up. And then of course the timing in his briefing, he mentioned that timing it's likely to be staggered. Yeah, it's likely to be staggered, and I cannot say for now when that will be completed. But the important thing is that we've started and we're going to continue until it's finished. Thank you.
So there's a question Mr. Steve Oko asked that was not answered.
Oh, come on, you asked the question before whether we paid the 2001 to 2010 in full.
Yes.
I thought you got your response. The answer is yes, we paid it in full.
Beautiful.
Everybody that is verified, we paid 100% of it.
Okay.
And there's a follow-up to this question now. Sir, I believe that there are some people who did not get the reaction.
The truth is that discussion has been ongoing. There was a committee. First and foremost, don't forget that this was an agreement entered into between ASO and the federal government. It affected other states. It's not peculiar to ASO. And I'm sure last year some of you were here when we met with ASO. When they wanted, okay, that was in 2024, when they wanted to back on traction because of the government plan implementation of PSA. Okay, so they did everything. Of course, the national chairman of ASU was here when I now brought it to his attention that because one of the issues they brought up was the issue of 11-month salary arrears. I told the man here that the 11-month salary arrears were incurred by the previous government. The man was shocked and now asked them here whether what I said was true. They say yes. The man asked them why they did not fight the other government and now they want to fight the government next day. They said because they were being intimidated. So what am I saying? The government that came and cleared some 11-month salary arrears in record time, a government that has initiated many landmark projects in the school, that has come up with impactful reforms, that has changed. For example, faculty of law, we had hundreds of people, over 300, who had graduated, spent over years, up to 3 years, but had not gone to law school. I think there were more than 500. Yeah, it's a fact. You can verify this. They couldn't go to law school. Why? Because faculty of law was over-admitting. They were admitting 250. Meanwhile, by law school recommendation, they were supposed to be admitting 130. Now we have solved that problem. And what were they doing that time? Those who couldn't afford to pay bribe between 800,000 to 1 million, they couldn't go to law school. Some people graduated and stayed 3 years without going to law school. This government has solved the problem. When we assumed office, they appointed the government through the attorney general for us to bring government house list and the governor's code. The governor declined and wanted them. So a whole lot of things have changed in house. And we do not expect those who profiteered from these things to be happy. They are not happy. So everything that happened recently happened because they were at the verge of implementation. A committee was set up and they had an window for this payment to commence. They were just I think within 3 weeks of this, they backed on strike. So these implementations are not happening because they backed on strike. This government has been very sincere, and you can confirm them either whether it is true or not, whether there was an agreement for the implementation to commence within 8 weeks before they backed on this strike action. So then on the issue of the lecturer that was suspended, ABSU is a university, it's an institution of its own. It has a governing council, it has everything, it has the Senate and the rest of them. People have been suspended in that school. People have been investigated, found guilty, and expelled. So whoever is trying to politicize it does not understand how this government functions. People criticize the governor, people criticize the government. The governor is too big to extend the law to influencing the university to suspend anyone. So the university, if they had reasons to suspend any of the lecturers, we believe that they will use the same internal mechanism to resolve what the problems are. So the state government will not get involved, the governor will not get involved. The suspension of the lecturer has nothing to do with the state government.